Think the bread sitting in your pantry is harmless? Think again. Today, we're ripping off the shiny, innocent-looking packaging to expose the ugly truth about some of the worst packaged bread brands in America. From sneaky sugars and unpronounceable chemicals to sky-high sodium levels and even jaw-dropping sanitation scandals, these loaves are anything but wholesome. We're diving deep into the 15 bread brands you should never trust, and we're not holding back. Every single name on this list comes with hard evidence and cited sources, so you'll know exactly why these brands made the cut. And don't worry, we're not just here to ruin your sandwich game. Stick around until the end, because we're also revealing the 5 best bread brands that actually deliver on health, quality, and taste. If you care about what you're putting on your plate or in your body, you can't afford to miss this. It's time to audit your pantry and make some serious changes. Let's get into it. The 15 worst packaged bread brands in America, and the 5 that are actually worth your money. Kicking off our list is an American icon that belongs in a museum, not your kitchen. Wonder Bread Classic White. This brand has coasted on nostalgia for decades. But let's be brutally honest, it's a nutritional wasteland masquerading as bread. Don't let the colorful packaging fool you. What's inside is a masterclass in processed junk. A single sandwich made with this stuff, that's 2 slices, hits you with around 140 calories, a hefty 5 grams of sugar, and 180 milligrams of sodium. For something that tastes like sweetened air, those numbers are just sad. The real horror show begins when you look at the ingredients. It's made from refined white flour that has been stripped of all its natural fiber, vitamins, and minerals. What little nutrition it has is artificially added back in, like a bad science experiment. The ingredient list is a graveyard of unpronounceable additives and preservatives designed to give it that signature squishy texture and an unnaturally long shelf life. This isn't food, it's a food-like product engineered in a lab to be as cheap and bland as possible. Consumers have pointed out for years that the bread's light, almost cotton candy texture and lack of genuine flavor are dead giveaways of its reliance on chemicals instead of quality, whole-grain ingredients. It squishes into a doughy ball in your mouth because there's virtually no substance to it. This bread represents everything wrong with the modern food industry, sacrificing genuine nutrition for a soft texture and a long-lasting, highly processed product. Putting Wonder Bread in your cart is like willingly choosing to eat empty calories. You can do so much better. Next up is Pepperidge Farm, a brand that sells a fantasy of quaint, wholesome farmhouse baking. But let's tear down that facade. Their farmhouse hearty white and sweet Hawaiian varieties are some of the biggest sugar bombs in the bread aisle. The marketing suggests quality and tradition, but the nutritional label tells a story of processed ingredients and deceptive health claims. Don't be fooled by the rustic packaging. This is just another candy bar disguised as a sandwich loaf. Let's look at the Farmhouse Hearty White. A single slice packs 130 calories and an aggressive 230 milligrams of sodium. That's nearly 10% of your daily limit before you even add fillings. Worse yet, it contains 4 grams of added sugar. When sugar is listed as the 3rd ingredient, you know you're not getting homemade style bread, you're getting a dessert. If you thought that was bad, the Sweet Hawaiian line is even more outrageous. We're talking 6 grams of sugar per slice, with 5 of those being added sugar. It's practically cake. This, combined with 210 milligrams of sodium, makes it a nutritional disaster. The ingredient list is a lineup of the usual suspects: refined flour, additives, and artificial flavors designed to trick your taste buds. Experts are clear on this one. Leave it on the shelf. For anyone managing their diet, especially those with diabetes or watching their weight, these sweeter bread options are a minefield. Pepperidge Farm isn't selling you health. It's selling you a sugar rush wrapped in a clever marketing story. Don't fall for it. Coming in at number 3 is Sunbeam Texas Toast, a brand that prioritizes size over substance. Famous for its extra thick slices, this bread is unfortunately also famous for its abysmal nutritional profile. Let's get straight to the point. This is not a healthy choice. Each oversized slice might seem satisfying, but it's loaded with an alarming 180 milligrams of sodium. A simple 2-slice sandwich starts you off with 360 milligrams of sodium before you've even added any fillings. That's a significant hit to your daily limit and a real concern for anyone monitoring their cardiovascular health. The problems don't stop with the salt content. A quick scan of the ingredients reveals a festival of industrially processed components and chemical preservatives. This isn't the kind of bread made with simple, wholesome ingredients. It's a product of factory engineering. Reputable health institutions have issued warnings about the potential long-term risks of consuming foods packed with these types of cheap, artificial additives, especially for children. While the 2 grams of sugar per slice might not sound terrible on its own, the complete lack of nutritional value from whole foods makes it another source of empty calories. You're getting thick, fluffy bread, but it's devoid of the fiber and micronutrients your body actually needs. Consumers have long noted the bread's strangely artificial softness and taste, but the most telling complaint is its short shelf life. Many people report that Sunbeam bread molds incredibly quickly, which seems odd for a product so full of preservatives. This is likely due to a high-moisture formula that creates a perfect breeding ground for mold, forcing the company to pump it with even more chemicals to keep it fresh on the shelf. It's a vicious cycle of poor formulation. Sunbeam Texas Toast offers a thick slice of disappointment, delivering minimal nutrition and a heavy dose of sodium and additives. At number 4, we have a brand that's practically a household name, Sara Lee. But behind that familiar red logo lies a troubling story of high sodium, chemical additives, and a sanitation record that is nothing short of horrifying. Their sweet and white bread varieties, especially the Texas Toast and Italian bread, are prime examples of products that prioritize texture and shelf life over actual nutrition. A single slice of their Texas Toast is loaded with around 200 milligrams of sodium, while the Italian bread isn't far behind at a staggering 240 milligrams per slice. A simple sandwich could easily push you close to a third of your recommended daily sodium intake. But the high salt content is only part of the problem. To achieve that signature soft, fluffy texture, Sara Lee's breads are pumped full of preservatives and other additives. These ingredients do nothing for your health and serve only to create an artificial product with a deceptively long shelf life. It's a chemical concoction designed to feel good in your mouth, not to fuel your body. The nutritional value is minimal, making it another offender in the empty calorie category. You're getting all the salt and chemicals with none of the fiber, vitamins, or minerals found in real bread. Beyond the poor nutritional profile lies a much darker issue: a major food safety disaster. The brand was at the center of a massive listeria outbreak originating from its Michigan plant. This contamination spread to the company's bread and deli meats, leading to a devastating outcome: 15 deaths and 6 miscarriages. The scandal forced Sara Lee to recall 35 million pounds of product and plead guilty to distributing adulterated food, resulting in a multi-million-dollar fine. This isn't just about unhealthy ingredients. It's as a fundamental breakdown in safety that had fatal consequences. When a brand's history includes such a catastrophic failure, you have to question whether it deserves a place in your pantry. Rounding out our first 5 is Freihofer's, a brand with deep roots in the northeastern United States that unfortunately seems stuck in the past when it comes to healthy ingredients. Their premium Italian bread is a perfect example of how a familiar name can hide a nutritionally poor product. The main offender here is an outrageous amount of sodium. A single slice contains a whopping 230 milligrams of salt. Let that sink in. If you make a standard 2-slice sandwich, you're looking at over 460 milligrams of sodium from the bread alone. That's a massive chunk of your daily recommended intake, and a serious red flag for anyone concerned about blood pressure and heart health. Freihofer's tries to play the health card by advertising that they don't use high-fructose corn syrup, artificial colors, or artificial flavors. While that sounds good on the surface, it's a classic case of marketing misdirection. They conveniently omit the fact that the bread is still loaded with salt and a slew of preservatives. This isn't health washing, it's salt loading. As many nutrition experts will tell you, the absence of a few bad ingredients doesn't automatically make a product good. The sheer quantity of sodium and the presence of chemical preservatives completely undermine any supposed health benefits. Consumer feedback on this bread is particularly telling. A common complaint is that it's just too salty, overpowering the taste of whatever you put between the slices. But the most alarming observation from buyers is its unnatural shelf life. People have reported that a loaf of Freihofer's can sit on the counter for a month without showing any signs of mold. That's not a sign of quality. It's a testament to powerful preservatives at work. Real wholesome bread is supposed to spoil. The fact that this loaf doesn't is a clear indicator that it's an over-processed product engineered for longevity, not for your well-being. Don't let the premium label fool you. There's nothing premium about a salt-saturated, chemically preserved loaf like this one. Next on the chopping block is Country Kitchen, a brand that plasters high energy on its hearty Canadian white bread as if it's some kind of superfood. Let's be blunt, the only thing high here is the number of questionable ingredients. The marketing is pure fantasy. This bread isn't fuel, it's a chemical cocktail masquerading as a wholesome staple. A single slice comes with around 110 calories and 150 milligrams of sodium, which might not sound terrible at first glance. But the real problem lies where most processed foods hide their secrets. The ingredient list. It's an encyclopedia of things you would never find in an actual kitchen bread recipe. When you need a chemistry degree to understand what's in your loaf, it's a massive red flag. Country Kitchen, like so many others on this list, leans heavily on a vast array of additives and preservatives to ensure its products can survive on a shelf for an unnaturally long time. Nutrition experts have called out this brand for having a ridiculously long list of ingredients, deeming it an unhealthy choice despite its passable flavor. That taste isn't coming from quality grains, it's engineered in a lab. You're tasting the science, not the substance. The reliance on these chemical additives does more than just extend shelf life. It systematically strips away any potential nutritional value. Even if there are some token whole grains in the mix, their benefits are completely overshadowed by the processed junk. You're left with a product that provides calories but little else. It's the definition of empty energy. This bread is a perfect example of how the modern food industry prioritizes profit and logistics over public health, creating a product that looks and feels like bread but offers none of the real nourishment. Don't be swayed by the hearty or high-energy claims. There's nothing hearty about a slice packed with preservatives. Now for a brand that promises low prices but delivers some truly stomach-churning quality issues. Walmart's Great Value Bread. It's no secret that store brands cut costs, but the question is, where are those cuts being made? In this case, it's a grim combination of cheap, nutritionally void ingredients and shocking lapses in basic sanitation. The low price tag might be tempting, but what you're saving in dollars, you're sacrificing in quality and disturbingly safety. This isn't just about poor nutrition, it's about a production process so flawed that it has put foreign objects directly into the food. The most horrifying example of this is the recent recall of Great Value bread. Walmart was forced to pull huge quantities of its loaves from the shelves after more than 30 customers made a disgusting discovery: rubber bands and sharp plastic shards baked directly into the bread. An investigation uncovered that worn-out conveyor belts were literally shedding rubber particles into the dough as it moved down the line. To make matters worse, bits of plastic packaging were also getting mixed in during production. This wasn't a minor issue. At least 3 people reported suffering cuts in their mouths and even chipped teeth from biting down on hard plastic fragments. This is a level of negligence that is simply unacceptable. Even if you're lucky enough to get a loaf free of industrial debris, the nutritional profile is just as grim. The wheat variety, for example, is little more than empty calories. It's packed with cheap additives and has almost no fiber, offering none of the benefits of whole grain bread. The incident prompted Walmart to claim it was tightening quality control, but the damage to the brand's reputation was severe. When you buy Great Value bread, you're rolling the dice on whether you'll get a mouthful of bread or a mouthful of factory floor. It's a gamble you shouldn't have to take. Coming in at number 8 is a brand that has become a party favorite and a staple at dinner tables. King's Hawaiian. Those iconic sweet rolls are undeniably delicious, but let's be brutally honest about what you're actually eating. This isn't bread, it's a dessert masquerading as a side dish. The addictive sweetness that makes them so popular is also their biggest downfall, turning what should be a simple dinner roll into a sugar-laden nutritional trap. Let's break down the numbers. A single small 28-gram roll contains a shocking 5 grams of sugar. To put that in perspective, that's more than a teaspoon of sugar in one tiny roll. Most of this is added sugar, deliberately used to achieve that signature sweet flavor. Nutritionists often draw a direct comparison between King's Hawaiian and other sugar-heavy breads like Pepperidge Farm's sweet varieties for a reason. Consuming 5 to 6 grams of sugar per serving, especially from refined flour with no fiber to slow its absorption, is a fast track to blood sugar spikes and crashes. But the sugar isn't the only problem. To get that famously soft and moist texture, King's Hawaiian rolls are made with added oils and butter, which increases the saturated fat content significantly compared to standard bread. What you end up with is a product high in sugar, high in fat, and incredibly low in nutritional value. There's virtually no fiber to speak of, meaning these rolls provide a quick burst of flavor but leave you feeling unsatisfied and craving more. While they might be a tasty treat for a special occasion, treating them as a regular part of your diet is a mistake. Constant consumption can easily contribute to weight gain and increase the risk of heart disease. King's Hawaiian has perfected the art of creating a crave-worthy product, but it comes at a steep price for your health. Number 9 exposes a brand that tried to jump on the health bandwagon and ended up driving right off a cliff. Nature's Harvest. Owned by the mega corporation Bimbo Bakeries, this brand made a big show of cleaning up its act, only to reveal a shocking failure in basic food safety. The story of Nature's Harvest is a cautionary tale about what happens when a company chases marketing trends without having the competence to back them up, putting consumer health at risk in the process. This isn't just about a bad loaf, it's about a systemic failure in quality control. In a bid to appeal to health-conscious shoppers, Nature's Harvest decided to remove certain chemical preservatives from its whole-grain bread to promote a cleaner ingredient label. This sounds great in theory, but they failed to make the necessary adjustments to their manufacturing and handling processes. The result was a disaster. Thousands of loaves of their healthier bread started developing green mold, sometimes just 2 days after being purchased by unsuspecting customers. The problem became so widespread that Bimbo had to issue a massive recall across 16 states, pulling their moldy products from shelves before more people were exposed. While mold itself might not be fatal, certain types can produce dangerous mycotoxins that pose serious health risks. The incident cost the company an estimated $3.5 million and was a public relations nightmare. It brutally exposed a critical weakness. Despite marketing itself as a wholesome whole-grain option, the brand couldn't produce a safe, stable product without relying on a cocktail of preservative. It highlighted a complete breakdown in their quality control and an inability to balance a cleaner label with fundamental food safety. If a brand can't even prevent its bread from turning into a science experiment days after you buy it, it has no business being in your shopping cart. And now for the big one, the largest bread corporation in the entire United States, Bimbo. You would think the flagship bread from a company this massive would be a benchmark for quality. You would be dead wrong. Bimbo's own large white bread is a nutritional joke and has a safety record that should make any consumer furious. Let's be perfectly clear. Just because a brand is everywhere doesn't mean it should be on your table. In fact, its market dominance makes its poor quality even more inexcusable. Nutritionally, this bread is a disaster. A single slice contains 50 calories, a staggering 250 milligrams of sodium, and 3 grams of sugar. For those numbers, you'd expect some redeeming qualities, but there are none. You get virtually no significant fiber or micronutrients. The ingredient list is exactly what you'd expect from a mass-produced, low-quality product. It starts with nutrient-stripped refined flour and is followed by a long roster of chemical additives designed to keep the bread artificially soft and shelf-stable for weeks. They might boast about not using high-fructose corn syrup and fortifying it with calcium, but that's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. It does nothing to fix the core problem. This is empty-calorie bread that offers zero real nourishment. If the abysmal nutrition wasn't enough, Bimbo's safety record is terrifying. In 2023, the company was at the center of a metal shard nightmare. Fragments of a broken conveyor belt wire fell into the dough, contaminating an estimated 48,000 packages of bread across multiple brands it owns, including its own. Can you imagine biting into a sandwich and finding a piece of metal while only one injury was officially reported? The sheer negligence is astounding. This incident led to a massive recall and millions in losses, gutting what little consumer trust was left. Between its worthless nutritional profile and a history of selling bread contaminated with metal, Bimbo large white bread is a product you should avoid at all costs. Next up is a brand that has a cult-like following for its soft texture and distinct flavor: Martin's potato bread. People swear by this stuff for their sandwiches and burgers, but when you peel back the wrapper, the nutritional reality doesn't live up to the hype. The beloved taste comes at a cost, and it's one that health-conscious consumers should think twice about paying. This is a classic case of flavor and texture taking priority over genuine, wholesome ingredients. Let's start with the main selling point: the potato. The packaging might give you visions of wholesome, earthy potatoes, but the reality is far less rustic. The brand uses rehydrated potato flour, which is a highly processed, starchy powder that lacks the fiber and nutrients you'd find in an actual potato. On the plus side, the sodium content is relatively low at around 105 milligrams per slice. However, that small win is immediately negated by the 3 grams of sugar packed into that same slice. Add to that a long list of unnatural additives and preservatives needed to create its signature structure and long shelf life, and the health halo quickly disappears. It's a mix of sugar and chemicals that seriously undermines its value as a nutritious food. While the brand has also waded into controversy for its political affiliations, sparking boycotts from some consumers, our focus remains on what's inside the loaf. And what's inside is a nutritionally imbalanced formula. Experts consistently rank Martins as one of the less healthy options on the shelf, precisely because of this reliance on processed potato flour, added sugars, and a cocktail of additives. The delicious taste is undeniable, but it's engineered. You're not tasting quality ingredients, you're tasting a carefully crafted product designed to be soft, sweet, and addictive, not to be healthy. Number 12 on our list is a master of disguise. Home Pride Butter Top Wheat. This bread sits on the shelf looking like a wholesome, nutritious wheat option, ready to fool shoppers into thinking they're making a healthy choice. But let's rip off that butter-topped illusion and expose the disappointing truth. This bread is a prime example of deceptive marketing, using the word wheat to create a health halo around a product that is anything but clean. Don't be fooled by its appearance. This is processed junk food in a healthy costume. Let's look at the numbers, which are deceptively low at first glance. A single slice is only about 70 calories and 140 milligrams of sodium. That sounds reasonable, right? Wrong. Nobody eats one slice of bread. A standard 2-slice sandwich immediately doubles those figures to 280 milligrams of sodium. And that's before you add any fillings. The real deception, however, lies in the ingredients. The very first ingredient isn't whole wheat flour, it's enriched wheat flour. That means it's been stripped of its natural bran and germ, along with most of its fiber and nutrients, before being artificially enriched with a few synthetic vitamins. Even worse, this supposedly healthy wheat bread contains high fructose corn syrup. Why does a loaf of bread need a cheap, controversial sweetener? It doesn't, unless the goal is to create a highly palatable, low-cost product with zero regard for health. The ingredient list continues with a lineup of artificial additives and chemical preservatives designed to extend shelf life and mimic a fresh texture. Nutrition experts are unanimous on this one. If you're looking for genuinely healthy bread, this isn't it. You should be seeking out 100% whole grain options that are free from artificial sweeteners and preservatives. Home Pride Butter Top Wheat is a nutritional wolf in sheep's clothing. Skip it and find something with actual substance. Next on our list is a brand that weaponizes a sweet tooth and preys on the idea that anything with fruit must be healthy. Sun-Maid's Raisin Cinnamon Swirl Bread. Let's be brutally direct, this bread is candy. It's a dessert loaf masquerading as a breakfast staple, and its nutritional profile is a disaster for anyone serious about their health. The packaging, featuring the iconic Sun-Maid Raisin brand, is designed to give you a warm, wholesome feeling, but the ingredient list tells a much colder, more processed story. The headline offense here is the outrageous sugar content. A single slice of this bread packs a staggering 8 grams of sugar. To be clear, much of this is added sugar, not just the natural sugars from the raisins. The company loads the loaf with raisins and cinnamon, creating the illusion of a nutritious, fiber-rich product. In reality, you're consuming a slice of bread that has more sugar than many cookies. This kind of high sugar intake, especially first thing in the morning, sets you up for a blood sugar spike and an inevitable crash, leaving you tired and craving even more sugar. Beyond the sugar bomb, the ingredient list reveals a host of unnatural additives and preservatives. These chemicals are thrown in to maintain freshness and enhance flavor, completely contradicting the natural image the brand tries to project. Experts are clear, this product is more akin to a dessert than a daily food staple and has rightfully earned its spot on lists of the worst breads for your health. Regularly consuming bread this high in sugar can easily contribute to weight gain, insulin resistance, and an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. Don't let the raisins fool you. This is a sugar-laden trap you need to avoid. Coming in at number 14, we're tackling the gluten-free aisle with Udi's, a brand that has become a go-to for many navigating a gluten-free lifestyle. But here's a blunt truth. Gluten-free does not automatically mean healthy. Udi's Cinnamon Raisin Bread is a perfect and frankly disappointing example of this. It's a product that solves one problem, the absence of gluten, but introduces a host of others, namely excessive sugar and sodium. Let's get right into the nutritional sticker shock. A single slice of this bread hits you with 7 grams of sugar and a jaw-dropping 220 milligrams of sodium. For a product marketed to health-conscious consumers, these numbers are outrageous. The sugar content rivals that of some dessert breads, and the sodium is on par with, or even higher than, many of the worst conventional white breads on this list. At 140 calories per slice, you're consuming a calorie-dense product that delivers a significant sugar and salt payload without offering much in return. The marketing might point to seemingly wholesome ingredients like brown rice flour and raisins, but don't be fooled. To compensate for the lack of gluten, which provides structure and texture, Udi's has to rely on a complex blend of additives and starches. The result is a product that is disappointingly low in fiber. You're getting all the sugar and salt without the beneficial fiber that helps with digestion and keeps you feeling full. Experts are clear: people who require gluten-free options deserve better than this. They shouldn't have to trade gluten for a high-calorie, low-fiber, sugar and salt-laden slice. Udi's might be a popular choice, but this particular loaf is a nutritional trap dressed up in a gluten-free package. And finally, we arrive at number 15. A brand that has built its entire reputation on being fresh, healthy, and high-quality: Panera bread. When you see the Panera name, you think of bakery cafe quality. Unfortunately, their packaged everything sliced bread is a perfect example of a brand coasting on its reputation while delivering a product that falls embarrassingly short. This isn't the fresh, wholesome bread you get in their cafes. It's a pale, processed imitation that tarnishes the very image they've spent millions to create. The first red flag is the sodium content. A single slice packs around 180 milligrams of sodium, which is a significant amount for a brand that positions itself as a healthier choice. A simple sandwich made with this bread starts you off with a heavy dose of salt, which can contribute to high blood pressure and heart issues over time. But the real betrayal lies in the ingredients. A glance at the label reveals a long list of unnatural components and additives, the kind of stuff you'd expect from a cheap, mass-market brand, not from Panera. These are included to mimic the flavor and texture of real bakery bread, but it's all a chemical illusion. Perhaps the most deceptive part of this product is its everything topping. The bread is sprinkled with sesame seeds, poppy seeds, dried onion and garlic, creating the visual impression of a hearty whole-grain loaf. But it's just a facade. The primary ingredient isn't whole-grain flour, it's nutrient-stripped, refined flour. You're getting all the bad carbs of white bread with a fancy topping to make you think it's healthy. Panera is selling an image of quality while delivering a product filled with sodium, additives, and refined carbs. This packaged bread is a classic case of reputation without substance, and it completely contradicts the fresh and healthy promise the Panera brand is built on. Don't let the name fool you into thinking you're making a better choice. Alright, after wading through a sea of nutritional nightmares, it's time to talk about the good stuff. We've exposed the imposters, and now it's time to celebrate the heroes of the bread aisle. These are the brands that get it right, delivering on taste, quality, and actual health benefit. Let's kick off our top 5 with the undisputed champion of healthy bread. First on our list of the best is Food for Life's Ezekiel 4-9 sprouted grain bread. This isn't just a healthy option. It's considered by many to be the gold standard, the absolute benchmark against which all other healthy breads are measured. You'll typically find this loaf in the freezer section, and for a good reason: it contains 0 artificial preservative. It's made from 100% sprouted whole grains, including wheat, barley, millet, lentils, and soybeans. This unique process of sprouting the grains before baking unlocks a powerhouse of nutrients. What makes sprouted grains so special? The sprouting process breaks down starches, making the grains easier to digest and increasing the availability of vitamins and minerals. The result is a bread that is packed with protein and fiber. A 2-slice serving delivers an impressive 12 grams of fiber, which is phenomenal for digestive health and keeping you feeling full and satisfied. This isn't empty calorie fluff, it's dense, substantial, and incredibly nourishing. Nutritionists and dietitians consistently praise Ezekiel bread for its clean ingredient list and superior nutritional profile. It contains absolutely no refined flour, no added sugars, and a minimal amount of sodium. When experts are asked for their top pick for a healthy sandwich, the name Ezekiel comes up time and time again. It perfectly embodies what you should look for: whole ingredients, low sugar, and a short, understandable ingredient list. If you're ready to ditch the processed junk and upgrade to a bread that actively contributes to your well-being, Ezekiel 4-9 is the absolute best place to start. It's more than just bread, It's a superfood. Next up on our list of breads that are actually worth your money is a brand that has completely rocked the bread aisle in recent years. Dave's Killer Bread. With its bold packaging and even bolder flavor, this brand has become a fan favorite for a reason. It's a fantastic choice for anyone looking to make a serious upgrade from standard, processed loaves. This bread proves that you don't have to sacrifice taste and texture to get phenomenal nutrition. What sets Dave's Killer Bread apart is its commitment to using high-quality organic ingredients. Lines like 21 whole grains and seeds and Power Seed are packed with a diverse and powerful blend of grains and seeds. We're talking about organic whole wheat, flax seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, quinoa, oats, and more. This isn't just token whole grain marketing, it's a legitimate, nutrient-dense recipe that delivers incredible benefits. A 2-slice serving can provide around 10 grams of fiber and 5 grams of protein. A seriously impressive nutritional punch that will keep you feeling full and energized for hours. Furthermore, Dave's Killer Bread is completely free of the junk you find in lesser brands. There are no artificial preservatives, no high-fructose corn syrup, and very little added sugar. Most varieties clock in at only 1 or 2 grams per slice.